Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to my series on loneliness. Now, this is my bear, Mr. Greystone. We're just going to be a little silly because loneliness as a topic is very serious, and I find it easier that if you be just a little silly, it does help. Now, with loneliness, let's start with that. I guess the first question will be, why are you lonely? Tell me. You work 60 hours a week? Oh, wow. The only time you travel is when you watch foreign films on Netflix. Oh. The overconsumption of social media has caused social anxiety that you'll be rejected amongst your peers whenever you go out and be yourself. Well, all those would cause loneliness. But let's first talk about the difference between being lonely and being alone. So I'm going to have Greystone sit over here, and we're going to have a little chat. First thing, being lonely and being alone is not the same thing. Because when you are alone, you're pretty much just by yourself. That does not mean feeling alone and being alone is the same thing. But when you are alone, it's just, well, you. Some people are happy just being them. Some people can just be by themselves, go out to eat by themselves, go to the movies by themselves, and they are fine. And then you have some people that are lonely. That is more of an emotional manifestation. One video that I saw that I will link in the description below is the Kierkegaard video on loneliness. And it was amazing and entertaining and detailed. And one of the things I liked about it the most is it talked about how when you are lonely, it is somewhat of a multiplier. So when you're lonely, the longer you're lonely, the more you misinterpret people's facial expressions, tones of voice. And so you tend to be more protective of yourself because you're already lonely. You don't want to get hurt. And so you tend to, best way I can describe it is form an armor around yourself. And the armor gets thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker until no one can get in. But then every day you're going home and you just are slowly dying inside. And they've done studies and they've compared being lonely to smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. They've saw that lonely people tend to have worse health conditions. Lonely people tend to have more heart issues and things like that. And so it is something that we need to start talking about, and we need to start admitting to ourselves, because I think a lot of times people don't want to admit they're lonely because there is a narrative that we have to do everything ourselves. You have to be self-sufficient. As Americans, we love the pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of story. But more often than not, a lot of the people that pulled themselves up by their bootstraps still had someone, even if it was just one person, help them make it to where they are. Whether it's somebody that gave them emotional support, whether it's somebody that maybe gave them a meal or washed their clothes to make sure they can get to wherever they're getting to on time. And a lot of times those people aren't acknowledged. And so we all have this idea in the head that we can do everything by ourselves and that we're an island. And that's just not feasible. It's not feasible and it's not healthy. But then we also have the loneliness of when you are with family and friends. And that loneliness tends to be when you have to hide and what you feel is an important part of yourself from your family and friends. or maybe they won't understand your interests or something that you love deeply, whether it's a topic of something you self-identify with, something you just love a lot, that you want to share with that group of people. So that's a different type of loneliness from just having no family and friends. But the second type, where you just want to be able to find your group, that's more easily remedied. Now, in this series, we're not really going to touch on depression and things like that, because with me being a life coach, there is a difference between helping someone form the life they want and then healing somebody from a past trauma. So the loneliness that I'll be talking about in my series is not something that necessarily stems from any kind of depression or mental illness. And if that's the case, then yeah, you would need to go to see a licensed therapist. But if you're just stuck in a rut and you don't know how to get out and kind of explore, and that's where the life coaches come in. That's where my video series are gonna go from here. Now, with the family and friends, just keep in mind, not everybody is going to be on the same level, and that's another video we're going to talk about. So just stay tuned. Please, once again, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you like the few changes that I have made. Thank you, and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.